a marathon match. And of course, Siegemund was playing those tactical games. You know, she was time wasting a little bit. She was, you know, getting a little bit agitated, you know, getting the umpire involved. You know, she does all those things. And Eala, mentally strong throughout, just kept her cool and just played the game. And that's what she did very, very well in this one, which could have easily gone to Siegemund. I mean, again, like I said, chances were there. But let me know in the comments below. How's Ayala going to do against potentially Swiatek? Because
there's to be no escape act in the second set for Laura Siegemund. Terrific point.
Alex Ayala has just produced one of the most intense and mentally tough performances of her young career, defeating Laura Siegemund in a dramatic 3-set showdown at the Miami Open 2026. And this was far more than just a tennis match, as it became a true examination of composure, patience, and mental resilience against one of the most controversial rhythm-disrupting players on the tour. And from the opening moments, it was obvious this contest would not be simple, with Ayala arriving ready not only for long rallies but also for the psychological challenge that often comes with facing Siegemund, who is well known for pushing the limits of time regulations, breaking the flow of play, and frequently interacting with officials in an effort to shift momentum and turn matches into mental battles. And early in the match, it appeared her tactics were working, because in the first set, Ayala actually looked like the stronger player, playing sharp, composed tennis while confidently controlling rallies. Yet Siegemund began interrupting the rhythm with repeated pauses, complaints about crowd movement, and unusually long service routines, which repeatedly disrupted the flow of the match and broke Ayala's momentum whenever she started to build it, turning what should have been a smooth set into a frustrating stop-and-start struggle. And despite being outplayed for stretches, Siegemund managed to push the set into a tiebreak and, in typical fashion, used the disrupted rhythm to steal it, creating a turning point that could have easily shaken a young player. But the situation escalated even more at the start of the second set when, just as play was about to resume, Siegemund took an extended bathroom break lasting around 12 minutes, once again disrupting Ayala's rhythm and cooling down the intensity of the match, which is often the kind of moment where many players lose focus or composure. But this was where Alex Ayala revealed her true strength, as instead of reacting emotionally, she reset mentally, choosing not to complain, argue, or let frustration take control. And when Siegemund returned, Ayala stepped back onto the court with a completely different mindset, focused, calm, and determined. And the second set quickly turned into a statement performance, as Ayala refused to let the delays affect her, began dictating play from the very first games, controlled the tempo, attacked with confidence, and remained locked into her own rhythm. And although Siegemund attempted to slow things down again, it had no impact this time, as Ayala built pressure game by game, maintained discipline, capitalized on key moments, and eventually took the set 6-3, completely shifting the momentum and leaving Siegemund without answers for the first time in the match. And heading into the third set, the contest was no longer just about tennis, but about endurance and mental strength, raising the question of whether Ayala could maintain her composure against continued disruptions. And the answer became clear immediately, as she looked like she had fully figured out Siegemund's tactics, staying calm through long games, repeated deuces, and further attempts to break her concentration, while Siegemund again tried to involve the umpire by complaining about spectators and claiming distractions. Yet this time the officials did not engage with it, recognizing the situation, and more importantly, Ayala did not allow any of it to affect her focus, keeping her attention on each point and refusing to get drawn into unnecessary drama. And as the match extended beyond the 3-hour mark, every game turned into a test of patience, with Siegemund continuing to stretch time between points, but Ayala matching her endurance without losing composure, remaining disciplined, waiting for opportunities, and taking them when they came. And just like in the second set, she broke at the crucial moments and with another 6-3 scoreline, secured the match to complete an incredible comeback victory, built not only on skill, but on mental toughness. And the moment the match ended, Ayala released a powerful scream of victory, letting out all the pressure and restraint she had carried for more than 3 hours. While on the other side, Siegemund's reaction told its own story, as after spending the entire match trying to control tempo through delays and interruptions, she offered only a brief and unenthusiastic handshake before walking away without acknowledging the battle, showing visible frustration. And this behavior is not new for her, as tennis fans have seen similar situations before, including her controversial match against Coco Gauff at the US Open, where there were again repeated delays, time violations, and arguments with officials, and the crowd saw through it as history appeared to repeat itself in Miami, where she previously claimed bias from referees and the audience. And after this defeat, Siegemund, clearly shaken, broke down in tears during her press conference, attempting to present herself as the victim and insisting that not only the crowd, but also Goff had treated her unfairly, trying to shift the narrative in search of sympathy, but by that point the reality was already clear to everyone, especially since Goff had earlier called out the unfair tactics from both Siegemund and the umpire, exposing what many believe to be the true story.
Less than a 0 because they treated me bad. Like, they treated me like I was a cheater, like I was, like, trying, sneaky ways to win this match or something. They treated me like I was a bad person. But, there are people who are throwing rackets, who are screaming, who are, like, making bad gestures.
But the key difference this time was Ayala's response, as she refused to get pulled into the drama, maintained her composure, and instead allowed her performance to speak for itself. And in the end, despite Laura Siegemund attempting to present herself as the victim, the reality was impossible to ignore, because Ayala clearly exposed the disruptive tactics that had been used throughout the match, and the crowd was not deceived, as it became obvious to everyone how the constant efforts to slow momentum and break Ayala's rhythm were unfolding. And when Siegemund argued with the umpire about supposed unfair treatment, it only emphasized her growing frustration, while Ayala remained steady, ultimately not only securing the victory but also representing fairness and integrity under pressure. And Siegemund's attempt to influence the situation ended up backfiring, with the audience clearly supporting Ayala, making this win significant not just because she advanced in the Miami Open 2026, but because of the way she handled every challenge, showing remarkable maturity and mental strength at such a young age, understanding exactly what she was facing and staying fully prepared for it, anticipating disruptions and refusing to let them affect her performance, which is the kind of composure that separates good players from truly great ones. And as the tournament continues, Ayala carries more than just a victory, as she now has confidence, belief, and a growing reputation as one of the mentally strongest competitors on tour. And although the journey ahead is still long, performances like this prove she is ready for the challenge. Because Ayala did more than just win this match, she proved she belongs on the biggest stage. And if she continues with this mindset, she could go much further than expected. And in the end, this match will be remembered as more than just a second-round win, as it became a defining moment that highlighted her mental toughness, discipline, and maturity against a player known for disrupting rhythm and testing patience. And Ayala did not simply endure the situation. She adapted, stayed composed, and rose above it. And performances like this are what build champions, suggesting that if she continues to handle pressure with this level of control, this could be just the beginning of something special. And while the Miami Open still has many rounds remaining, one thing is clear. Ayala has made a statement, and the tennis world is now watching closely, leaving fans to wonder what they thought of this intense battle between Ayala and Siegemund, whether Siegemund's tactics crossed the line or were simply part of the game, and how impressive Ayala's composure truly was at such a young age, staying calm under constant pressure and still coming out on top, raising the question of whether this could be a turning point in her career at the Miami Open, and if she has what it takes to go even deeper into the tournament after such a performance, and ultimately asking, was this just a victory or the arrival of a future star?